Hey guys, it's Matt. It used to be maybe once a week where I felt really beaten up and I really didn't want to face the reality that was being presented to me on CNN. Now it's two or three times a week, and I just feel like ripping into absolutely everything. So it's not hard. I'm going to look at this website. I'm going to look at a few things people sent me. The first thing I think I'm going to rip into here today, this is fish in a barrel, but I'm not going to play the fish in the barrel intro that much. Two things. People say it gets into their head and they have it with them all day. Welcome to the Fish in the Barrel reality show with your host, Matt McKinley. Sorry for doing that. It gets into people's heads and it's too friendly. Fish in the barrel is like, I feel beaten up and I want to just rip something. Now I want to call out Not Milk and say, Not Milk, you're particularly pathetic today. That's fish in a barrel. It's too friendly. Although we'll keep using it. I appreciate, it being sent to me as an intro and an outro. I certainly didn't create it. I'm with Bill on that. I don't use any of those Ouija board AI tools. So the first thing I want to rip into is, have you noticed the endless flood of these AI YouTube channels? I'm sorry if there's a few real people behind them that aren't comfortable talking or whatever. I'm going to call them AI YouTube channels. The thumbnail is a little bit too professionally produced. They always, as the words are talking, the AI words are talking, it flashes up the words like a closed caption. Well, I can hear it. Why do I need to read it at the bottom at the same time? And they're written a little bit too perfectly. And if I know how long it takes to write a chapter for a book and then present it. It's like a 2 or 3 all day thing for one of the old book chapters. And although some of the information is, pretty good, it's many of the things we like to talk about, some philosophy, but it's just if these YouTube channels, which I'm just going to call AI unless the person behind it says, no, I'm not comfortable talking, this is the AI voice I use, and I write it myself, and here's who I am. If they don't do that, of course, I'm assuming it's all AI, and the flood of these channels will just continue. Here's some examples, and some of the information's actually pretty good. I mean, I watched one on Nietzsche the other day, but I'm sorry. I mean, it's almost like from a Not Milk perspective, the Not Milk doesn't care if the information seems somewhat good to us. It's just another way of incrementalism, the distraction of keeping you away from what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't matter if it seems like it's sound philosophy or philosophy that people like you and I should be interested in. It just screams of just another Not Milk tool. Even if there's a real person behind it who's using ChatGPT to compose some of this, using an AI voice, I'm sorry. In this day of everything is fake. Not one picture can be trusted. Not one video can be trusted. It's just not good enough. You have to at least everybody has to come forth now. I'm tired in these truth channels that you watch. And again, I haven't in the past, for years, I haven't ripped other truth channels. That's probably where this channel's going. End up being me debating other truthers and just ripping each other back and forth. But I'm not going to say any names here. I'll give Russian Vids a pass. Never saw his face. I don't know who he is. I don't know his name. I'm going to give him a pass because that person woke me up to a lot of things. Whoever he was or still is or what his role was, he was a trailblazer. Okay, I'll give Russian Vids a pass. But at this point, with everything being fake, and I'm sorry, I'll just say conspiracy or us. I like a lot of the videos. I've watched a lot of videos. It's Not Milk distraction. It's the conspiracy generation machine. It's the stuff that Not Milk wants us spending time on. But if you're putting in all that reason, come forth. I mean, okay, Matt, some people have real. Does conspiracy? I mean, if you do that much work, do you have a real corporate job you're trying to protect? Really? I don't know. Just people need to just in this world of fake, people need to come out and say, here's who I am. Emily, I always liked Emily Moyer. I don't know her. I've never spoken with her, but at least, hey, I'm Emily Moyer. She's here. Here I am. I'm Howdy McCoskey. I'm not hiding behind any AI. I'm not hiding behind a fake name or give Russian Vids a pass. He was a trailblazer. Other than that, no. In this world of fake, it's time to say who you are, and what are you hiding from? Like nobody, they don't know who you are. They can't find you. I mean, that's why I've never hidden behind anything here. Everybody can find anybody. I could try to cover up my name, cover up my identity. Could find me in any element of Not Nil. Could find you in 2 seconds. So, and your work knows exactly what you're doing if you're spending time on this sort of thing. Whatever. Let me just find stuff to rip into. All right, here's a great example right here. How many thousands of these types of YouTube channels are popping up? Second Perception, 15 subscribers, 3 videos. I mean, look at the quality of the thumbnail. I mean, I can tell you, Bill can tell you, just to some little channel, something that is a little too perfect. Let's just say Ben Affleck was suspect. If there's a real person behind this, I'm sorry. Just come out and say, hey, here, 10 seconds, here's who I am, and then from here on in, I'm not going to show myself, but I want you to know there's a real person behind this. In this world of AI and Gronk and all this chat GPT stuff, you can't do it anymore. Yeah, if there's a real person behind this, you have to come out and announce. You're going to be classified as a waste of time AI bot channel. I watched part of this. It was somewhat interesting. I thought it'd be more about ripping the Mandela effect, memory versus fiction, why our brains make things up. You're lying. It wasn't that clear. It wasn't just about ripping, or it wasn't about ripping the Mandela effect. And I mean, there's points I would disagree with, but it was just like, and I mean, I don't even know if I can show some of this because it has, I don't know, are they all AI graphics? I guess they're all AI generated. I guess I'm not recording system audio, but it's all AI voice. And if there's a real person behind this, I'm sorry, but it's time to show yourself.
Then no doubt you have noticed how much that things has changed over the decades.
Remember this person from last week, a real person. I'm sure you're like me. I don't care how good the information is. If it's some AI voice and it's probably produced partially or fully via the chat GPT, even if a real person is behind it, I reject it. With one exception, I'm going to continue with it. I'll show you. There's one exception. It's a movie review, vintage movies. I will show you that a little bit later. Other than that, I'm going to gravitate to real people. You know what, folks? Because there's not a whole lot of us left. Most people are being turned into not zombies. I'm sure this is not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons maybe I like this stove stuff so much. There's no opportunity for AI at this point. It's a real person working with real things, brick, mud, sand, clay, etc., to do something real. There's no opportunity for AI voiceovers at this point. And I don't think, I guess the mid-journey's pretty close to being able to recreate a fake Russian making a stove, but it's just not quite there yet. So I'm still drawn to this. Here's another one that popped up recently. Dreamium, Who Are You Really? I mean, they all have the same feel. You just click, they start the same way. Sorry. They all have the words scrolling across as it's being read. Sorry, if there's a real person behind this, I apologize. But only for a few days. If you don't come out and say, hey, here I am. In this world of fake, there's actually a real person here. Okay, Matt, I think we got the idea. Repeat the thing. Don't improve it. Sorry. But I don't care how good your information is. People, at least the people of this channel, we reject the endless fake. Of course, me talking about fake leads to once a month, Matt, I've heard from other truthers and trolls that you could be some sort of deep fake. You could be a Joe Rogan or Billy Corgan deep fake. I know we keep using the same examples, but the trolls that introduce that, it's too good. I'm going to use that for as long as this channel exists. Well, here's the giveaway. I'm not always funny, but I can be funny from time to time. Okay, depending. Now, have you ever settled in on a Friday night instead of going out with your hot chocolate in front of one of the AIs like the Gronk or the Chat GPT, or what's the Google one called? Gemini, expecting to be entertained, expecting it to tell jokes and to have comedic timing? Maybe it will in the future. I doubt it. I doubt the AI will never have the real human comedic timing. See, that's kind of a slight giveaway that this individual here, and this sweatshirt's not even frayed. It's one of the newer ones, may be real. And regarding this Joe Rogan thing that was brought up by a troll years ago, which I'm so glad they brought up. Thank you, thank you. The purpose of them bringing it up, they never expected to have anybody believe that it actually was Joe. Actually, some of the dummies that go to some of the troll channels actually believed it. Yeah, they're that dumb. But the idea in doing it, in floating it, was not to think that most of the people that interact with these troll channels would actually believe, or they would be convinced that I'm Joe Rogan. It's just to plant the seed in the mind that Matt may be someone else. That's all. Not that he's Joe Rogan, although a few dummies actually believed it. Actually, more dummies than you would expect believed it. But just to plant the seed, very crafty, that it will come out with something ridiculous. Matt is Joe Rogan, but the takeaway will be even in the subconscious amongst the dummies that watch these troll channels is Matt may be someone else. That's what they hoped would stick with people. And I don't know what more you can do. We used to have what's called the white pages. I don't know if they have. I guess they have online white pages. You go to a phone book and you look some. I've been in the white pages. I've never hid my name, address. I mean, anybody can find me in 2 seconds. So if you're planning on doing some sort of deep fake conspiracy channel, I'm not sure why you moved somebody into an address in 2002. I guess that's all part of the plan. Matt, don't you know when Captain Hook, the Robin Williams movie with Dustin Hoffman, they moved all those Robbie Bibbies and Robbies. They moved them all in on, was it a Christmas Day? They all got mortgages on the same day. They moved you in 2002, all part of a devious plan. They didn't even expect you to go live on YouTube till about 2008. Yeah, that's as they all do. That's what I figured. And regarding the Joe Rogan thing, why would you put the dumb doppelganger version of me into the $200 million platform and have the smarter one just sitting here talking to you in a frayed sweatshirt, talking to the same small group that only gets 20 new subscribers a month? Wouldn't you put the smarter version in the $200 million platform and the dumber steroided version in this platform? It don't make no sense. As usual, I forgot to go make sure Dubuque and Duluth are still okay. Everything's fine. Of course, it's just more stuff about Trump and the conclave. But look to the right. The CNN bot that writes all the articles, the Whopper supercomputer that writes all the articles, made a grave mistake here. I don't know how you punish a bot or a computer, but this is a grave error. There's Sha'Carri Richardson. I love Sha'Carri Richards, the track and field star. It says, the YouTube bot, listen to me, I'm reading the headline from CNN. Don't remove my channel. Fake tan, fancy nails, how a new generation of runners is redefining beauty? I agree, Sha'Carri runs with the nails that are like 8 inches long, but it ain't a fake tan. You don't say that about a black woman who's one of the fastest women in the world. You don't scream if I went out there to Oregon where they do the Olympic trials in Oregon and say, Sha'Carri, how's your fake tan? That ain't going to go over very well. I'd be removed from the audience. No, Sha'Carri is not a fake tan. Sha'Carri is a beautiful African-American woman. CNN bot on Sha'Carri, it's not a fake tan. That's what you wrote here. I mean, if this isn't proof that some sort of Gronk or some sort of AI is writing these articles, I don't know what is. For anybody under age 35, let me tell you something you've never heard before. About 15 years ago, there was actually real people writing articles. They were sitting at a keyboard actually writing. There were actually editors to proof the articles. If you can believe that, if you're under age 35. Now think of this. Even 25 years ago, if you were some new hire, some white kid hired at 26 and you're just writing little articles, we're going to prove your article for the front page of CNN. Oh, really? Good. Let me see your article. Fake tan, fancy nails. What the hell are you writing here, son? This is a beautiful black woman. Black. It's not a fake. They have that? It's not a fake. Did you think since you were born every black woman that was walking around has a fake tan or some sort of cream that she applied to her skin? Wait, You didn't know there's actually black people? How did you get hired here, sir? It's like that scene in Lethal Weapon 2. Bot, talking about Lethal Weapon 2 with Danny Glover. You don't, sir, to listen to your friend here. You don't want to go to South Africa? Why not? I want to, he could, because you're black. Of course. That's why I want to go to South Africa, because they got more fake tanning beds. Let me close with a 15-second private word to the bot. Bot, I just read the CNN headline. It's my take on it. The CNN headline is racist. Go seek the bot out that wrote this racist headline. And on behalf of everybody watching and listening, I'd like to apologize to Shikari. I hope to see you in the next Olympics, Shikari.
Send your pictures to dear old Captain Noah. Send today. Send right away. Send your pictures to dear old Captain Noah.
Let's get an update on this nonsense reality breakdown. Headline: Russia-Ukraine peace proposal involves freezing lines somewhere close to current location. Vance says, I play cards with J.D. Vance, chief of police. I think that's the same guy from Sling Blade. I think the biggest... Vance issues Ukraine ultimatum after Rubio snubs key London meet. Rubio, look, that's one of our key sponsors. Marco Rubio bubble parties of Central and South Florida. What stays under the bubbles, what happens under the bubbles, stays under the bubbles. I have my contract with Marbio states that if I say the slogan wrong, he doesn't have to pay me for the commercial. So that one's a freebie, Marbio, Rubio, is his name Marco? Second bullet point associated with this very important news headline. Oh, it's for subscribers. I'm sorry, guys. We can read it, though, and extrapolate what they might be meaning here. Russians are still traveling around Europe despite sanctions. Not everyone's happy about it. Oh, boy. So if you're sitting in like an outdoor cafe along the Seine or the Seine River where it just smells of pee and urine because they're already all the bums pee down there, and you're the Champs Élysées or whatever, and you're out your little outdoor cafe, it's like, look, honey, I think they're Russians. I think they're oh my God, what they say? Do svidaniya. They're Russians. Don't, waiter, come over here, waiter. Don't say I said it, but see, that couple there is Russian. I just heard one of them say, do svidaniya, whatever the hell that. Don't serve them. They need to stay. Don't we have some sort of sanctions? How are Russians able to sit here with us along the Champs Élysées with the smell of pee coming from the bums in the Seine? Oh my God. Call the police. Get these Russians out of here. For those that didn't follow what I was saying, quick story somebody told me, 1 minute or less. Know somebody that went to Paris, was with their wife or their girlfriend, saying, let's take a romantic walk along the Seine. Now the Seine running through Paris. On either side is like cement buildup in some areas, stone. You have to walk down. Sometimes it's thin steps, sometimes it's wide, sometimes it's thin. But let's go down and walk right along the Seine. We can say we did that. It's so romantic. Well, I don't know, it was a few blocks down from Notre Dame or wherever they were. They walked down. It was a little thin area. Walked down the steps along the concrete. And as they got to the bottom, this giant cloud smell of urine and pee and vomit and worse things if you're anybody's eating, I won't continue, and then some used needles, and said, whoa, this is where the bums hang out at night. And they said, well, what happened to a romantic walk along the Seine? This isn't the Paris they told me about in the brochures. They got the hell out of there. I was looking for the newly released fake photo of Louis, Prince Louis. That's in the middle. But to my surprise, they've moved the Shikari article down. They haven't changed the title about the fake tan. It's at a different part on the CNN. Just juggles around their website every 10 minutes or so. And the picture is actually larger. I can't believe the morality bot at CNN that works with the racism bot hasn't gotten to the article writing bot and said, remove this immediately. Okay, I'm not going to mention that anymore. Again, I'm sorry, Shikari. The middle, new Prince Louis photo released to mark 7th birthday. It's just like a game they play, right? And the people analyze it. Oh, this is faked. How many photos of the royal family they say are faked? Almost every single one that's come out, I believe. I don't follow the royal family very closely. I'd like to, but I don't. They're always like, oh, this is faked. Or this. Then they'll do the same thing here. They'll do the same thing here with poor little Prince Louis. He's probably faked. He probably doesn't even exist. Let me read the headline at the top if it's a little small. The photo taken by British photographer Josh Shinner shows Louis sitting on a log wearing a collared shirt, green V-neck, sweater, and jeans. Now, what does that remind you of? It's the same cadence of when they lost Long Duck Dong and 16 Candles. Hey, Bill, I can't even say you've lost your blank. I have to say, you've lost your Chinese exchange student. What was he wearing? He was wearing a red Argyle sweater, blue pants, and red shoes. No, he's not retarded. I think they did that on purpose. They followed the same cadence of when they lost Long Duck Dong for this Kensington Buckingham Palace release. Let's go back to the main headline of yesterday to see if there's an update. Pope Francis's body lies in state for 3 days of public viewing on the Kennedy and Lincoln catafalque at St. Peter's Basilica ahead of funeral. Lies in state. Come on, man. Come on, sir. That ain't nothing but Madame Tussauds. You think they're gonna have the real for public viewing? They're gonna have the real body in there. Again, what's most of my family, guys? Most of my family is Catholic, and they do like the open casket. And I don't know how many times I can tell you I've heard the ridiculous statement. Someone will always pull it out, no matter how bad the embalming went at a regular Catholic church for your family, friends, and other relatives that have died in the Catholic Church. Someone will always lean into someone else's ear and say, "He looks good. She looks good, doesn't she? Looks good. She's dead. I don't think I've ever been to a Catholic funeral where somebody doesn't lean, and I've overheard it several times. She looks good. I mean, why don't you say, look, the embalmer did the best they could with the rotting flesh. Just put it the way it should be put. But I mean, do you think? I guess did he have to lay in here for 3 days if he's on his way to David Bowie Island? I don't know. I mean, David, if Prince hasn't played for months and Michael Jackson hasn't played for months, he said, we tried to work with Madame Tussauds, but we couldn't pull it off. You got to lay in here for 3 days. I got to lay in here. Yeah. And then people say, he looks good. He definitely does look good because the body's alive. And then, okay, 3 days, that's all. We're going to close it up. We're going to bury a pile of bricks. Then off you go to Michael Jackson and the Prince concert. Let's go back here for a few minutes, guys, to this image because I may have used the word reality breakdown. And when you use that, at least, Matt, you could follow through with it. I agree. The reality breakdown is how everybody around us observes this war and the rudimentary fashion in which it's being fought. Basically, it's World War II style fighting. This is just your regular World War II type of artillery. Bill made those posters about the old women in Ukraine sandbagging, and when they're not sandbagging, they're making a special stew that will get the Russians. I'm going to prepare the stew in case we have to feed the Russians, and then they'll get what's coming to them. I mean, it's rudimentary. It's even more rudimentary in some cases than what we saw in World War II. But all the military journals for 25 years, they wrote article after article about how Russia has more advanced weaponry than even the U.S. in certain areas like cruise missiles, the Sukhoi 27 fighter, and all these different areas regarding land and sea weapons, land and sea combat, Jane's articles, the military journals. But I don't expect the people around us, our family and friends, to have read through all those articles. I've perused a few of them. I was very much into fighter aircraft. I've been to Top Gun Miramar, and I was into, watching air shows and watching the F-15 Eagle fly and the F-16 Falcon and the F-18 Hornet and all that. I was into that for a long time. And I assure you, every step of the way, the Russians were keeping up. And not just in military aircraft like the MiG-29, the Sukhoi 27, Sukhoi 30, whatever, but in ballistic missiles all over the place. But then when this is being fought, I guess they just feel sorry. They say, we want it to be somewhat even. We'll leave all the advanced weaponry at home and we'll just fight it as if it's World War II. In some cases, World War I. And Trench and Bill's poster says that the Ukrainian old women are actually contributing because they're preparing stews and soups that if the Russians come in and they have to feed them, they'll get theirs, if you know what I mean. So and when they're not preparing their stew, they're sandbagging. And this is basically back to the battles fought around the days of Archdick Ferdinand. So, I mean, the reality breakdown is, okay, I guess our family and friends aren't really expected to keep up on or notice that the advanced weaponry is not being used. But across the board in the media, not a mention of it. I mean, this is the download, folks. This is the frequency and radio station. First grade truth, or all they can come up with is Jake Tapper, and they get special and secret orders. They're all CIA. They all know exactly what's. No, they don't. It's a download. The people presenting the news don't even think for a second to talk about why some of the advanced weaponry is not being employed on one side. Guys, regarding an update to this nonsense article we made fun of last week, I mean, this is a new level of insult to our intelligence. I didn't think that they would have the gall to do this. Remember this? Harvard's fight with the Trump administration is just getting started. The cost is already high. Remember, $2 billion being withheld, etc. But Harvard has we calculated $60 billion in the bank. $60 billion. Look what they're trying to pass off, and successfully, to the idiots reading this, other than you and I. Funding cuts will undoubtedly cost lives. They've got $60 billion left. The U.S. government's withholding $2 billion. All the tuition being paid in, none of that's being withheld. But the $2 billion over the $60 billion they already have is going to cost lives. I have no idea how they have the gall to pass this off. Walt, who was awarded the National Medal of Technology and Innovation in January by then President Joe Biden, leads a lab that's developing early detection technologies for neurodegenerative diseases like ALS. Oh, okay. So let me get this straight. Since Lou Gehrig, his famous speech, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. What's been done for ALS patients? Nothing. Matt, they surely have really sophisticated drugs that slow the whole process down. No, they don't. No, they don't. I know somebody that has ALS. What they're able to do, there's some drugs, some experimental. They basically, in 50 years, they've basically done nothing for ALS patients. But now the $2 billion funding, you're going to hold that back. That's going to cost lives. What are you doing for them anyway? Let's say you get the $2 billion. How are you going to benefit ALS or patients with other neurodegenerative diseases? You're not. I mean, this is just a flat out lie. How is it going to cost lives? You haven't done anything for anybody with these diseases, and you have nothing on the horizon. Now, fine, put your money where your mouth is. This is the case. Trump should just give him the $2 billion. If anything were real, based on this article, Trump would say, okay, here comes the $2 billion. Now we want a cure for ALS by the end of the year. We want you to show me how this $2 billion saved lives. You told it to CNN. You told Brand on the phone. He told me. You told CNN it's going to cost lives. Okay, fine. Here's your $2 billion. I would absolutely set them up to fail. You show me now how you're saving lives with the $2 billion. And you know what they'll be able to produce? Squat. Then if anything were real, if anything about the Trump administration was real and it wasn't one world system and Harvard's not in bed with the Trump administration and it's all the same thing, and there are any Trump supporters here? Really? Is there anybody still here? What are you doing here? How blind can anybody be? If anything were real, Trump would say, here's your $2 billion. Now deliver. And if you don't deliver, you're not getting any funding for your entire existence. It's all gone because you've pushed for this by having the CNN article go out about it costing lives. You played this game. Now pay the price. Give me a break. What a bunch of villains. Look at these NPC wannabes. Yeah, I think there's an entity here. I'm starting to believe there's a lower entity than an NPC. Something that just does the not-no bidding on the download and never thinks for itself. We need a new classification for entity. It says, in an interview with CNN's Richard Quest, who's that Johnny Quest? What kind of clown is this? Walt said he quickly scrambled to find work for the lab's three whole researchers going to change the landscape of ALS. But if the funding freeze were to continue, he cautioned, it would undoubtedly cost lives. So let me get this straight. In the $60 billion you have in the bank, you can't find it in the goodness of your heart to pay 3 people to keep them on board. Harvard can't come out and say, you know what? Since this could cost lives, we're going to pay for the continued research ourselves. You think you can afford it? Well, we're transferring over $42 now of the $60 billion we have in the bank. I mean, our biggest frustration is the idiots around us, our family and friends, can't see through this. What's wrong with people? Oh my God, this is the definition of what the Fish in the Barrel show's all about. The opening jingle's too friendly. In addition to neurodegenerative diseases, Walt's lab studies cancer and infectious diseases. What have you done for that? Squat. What have you done for the latter? Squat. But he added, they can't do it without federal funding. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You have no results. So, quote, cancellation of funding to researchers across the U.S. will delay medical progress and will threaten public health. There hasn't been any progress for 50 years. I don't expect the people at CNN and these morons to say anything different. I expect our family and friends to finally push back and say, what the fuck are these people talking about? Okay, I'm going to calm down and I'm going to leave it there, guys. And at some point, I guess that this will, when we have nowhere else to go, I'll just debate the other idiot and first grade truthers. And I look forward to doing it. As you can see, I do like to argue. Thanks for listening.